Hi guys, welcome back to the channel for another video on Marvel Contest of Champions. As you know, this is my ongoing series called Savage or Not, which basically looks at champions through Variant 2. Variant 2 has already been described as one of the most fairest of variants that have been put in so far. The whole scheme of this series is to at one point have a big guide at the end of it, but also do smaller videos that focus more on certain champions. And if you're interested in keeping up to date, I've put a link in the description that will take you to the playlist that will show the progress through this. As you can see, we're nearing the end, and since the last set of videos I have made a progression to do 2 of the missions, and I do plan to do the other 2 by the end of the week. But at the same time I will be updating you on my progress and at the same time deep diving these champions as we've said. Before going anywhere, something I will reiterate in this ongoing series is you don't have to use XL champions to a degree. You can also use champions that utilize heavy attacks. For example, Domino. Domino is great with the Red Hulk synergy because she's able to hugely damage output with her heavy attack, so you get a huge incinerate. Also, same principle can be said for Archangel. I've seen lots of players with a 5-star version of Archangel utilizing it. And I'll probably do a separate video focusing on that heavy attack method. But the fact is, for those that don't have those, because let's bear in mind, I'd be completely wrong of me to assume that you have every single champion provided. So let's say you have XL champions, you have some that are good, some that are bad, some that benefit from these particular buffs, some that don't. So let's have a look at Kingpin today and also Joe Fixit. The end boss for 3.1 is Yellow Jacket, same as it is for 2.3. I hate Yellow Jacket, I absolutely hate it. I just can't really work out the L1. As much as I can really try, it is very rare that I'm managing to execute a full evade. And what's great about this one is that he isn't L1 unblockable. You can build him up to his L2, which is the method that I like to use. The champion has cornered, so it is quite handy to then build him up to the L2, which I can avoid and evade easily. It's just I'm crap with the L1, to be brutally honest. Limber is a bit frustrating having that on the enemy, but the fact is it's a very straightforward champion. And like I've said, if you've got those XL champions, then you can build up quite nicely to that L2, especially if you time in well with your throwing unblockable attack every 10 hits of the combo meter. So if you're mindful of building up to 10, it can be quite helpful. But obviously the thing that we want to concentrate on today is that's how Black ISO Mafia works, which funny enough, that is actually a really relevant at the moment meme. Well, sort of, because like memes only stay relevant for about 5 seconds. But I love that because it's like, that's how Mafia works. And yeah, well done, Kabam. Good being relevant. I guess the unfortunate side of things is that it is not as good as maybe I would have thought. Now, that is good to see an extra buff on the champion at the start, and Kingpin was great. I did one fight with him. I got life stealing, which is fantastic. The champion stayed in the game for a long time. Do I have any plans to upgrade my Kingpin any further than he already is? The answer is no. I don't think I can really warrant taking him any further than he is to try and see if I can damage output more with him. I would have loved to have an awakened version, but my 4-star and 5-star are not awakened. Where Joe Fixit is concerned, there is limitations, and those limitations are largely squared towards Mephisto to start off with. Getting through here is kind of annoying because if you know with Soul Imprisonment, it does mean that your buffs you get from Gambler's Fate to begin with are going to be nullified. So that buff that you get from the Global, which is obviously one of the main reasons that we would have any of these champions like Kingpin or Joe Fixit to use, does mean you won't be able to really kind of start off utilizing them and you'd have to get a bit further down. So yeah, that's a little bit annoying to begin with. And also if you get hit by the L1 by this lovely fella here, Mr. Sinister, it does mean that you're going to be able to take that debuff that the enemy might have. So if they start off with a shock or a poison or even a bleed, it means that it will then come back to you if you get hit. So the answer is don't get hit and evade well. But as well, similar things with this, it's just similar principles, and you're going to have to really box clever with other routes. And the top route here, I went with having Furies and Enhanced Furies. It was just handy to go down this route. This was the easiest clear route for this. And so what I did was I used Kingpin, putting that that Black ISO debuff effect onto the enemies. Was quite handy, so that was really the easiest route. I would say for these 2 paths here, in particular, the one that's the skill one and the one below it with the tech champions, it may be best to use either Joe Fixit or Kingpin. But the one below, I'm a bit kind of cagey on, and that is the swapping of, it's aspect of care, so swapping the health bars. It's not really something I like too much, but you just got to muscle through it as best you can. I definitely like to look at the champion being awakened, and if I get him awakened at some point, maybe when I do the 100%ing of this, I will then go, right, well, I'll save this to last. Maybe I've got the awakening, maybe he's a lot more stronger to use, maybe I'll put him up to 345, just to make sure the 5-star version is a bit more powerful, and obviously we can get those rages off very quickly and also get overpowered more easily, which will mean that it'll get more savage in nature. But unfortunately it does feel to me that I probably will put boosts on and use other XL champions that may be a bit more helpful for the situation of different champions going up against. Maybe King Groot. More than likely I'll be using the heavy attack method, but predominantly Sentinel. I'll be going back to using Dormammu, MODOK, those champions there, especially going up a certain champions in this particular lot. And aspect of chaos is really frustrating, so any champion will really do there, just as long as I box clever with when I choose to hit the enemy. Obviously we want to hit them whilst as low health as possible before the 10 seconds are up, and I get all that lovely health back, or screw up the fight and as a result I just get completely mullered. But in any case, that has been a little bit of a deep dive on Kingpin. Not the best, but still has potential to be quite savage. And Joe Fixit, a 4-star, which will always be a 4-star. Man, I think it would have been good to have a 5-star or a 6-star version, which I know people would go, ooh, that's not a good idea. But for the purpose of just doing the variant 2, making it easier on people that maybe don't have Domino, Archangel, and having Red Hulk, or even saying don't having Gladiator Hulk. There are so many options to use for this quest, but the fact is, would we say about Joe Fixit, would we say about Kingpin? Level of savagery. Kingpin has potential, but it isn't a case that I'm able to maximize that based on the unawakened version and being so low in rankage. But what are your thoughts on these both champions? Have your say in the comment section below. So there we have it, guys. That has been the continuation of the Savage or Not Variant 2 series. I plan to get this completed by the 29th of April 2019. Just because I've got other content I want to make and other stuff going on in my life at the moment. So it's nice to do it at slow progression and at the same time bring you along for the journey. I may choose to live stream the 100%ing of it. I haven't decided. But either way, thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button. Follow on with the playlist in the description below. And as always, I shall catch you in the next one. Bye bye for now.